We talked about hybrid. We've talked about
That's
hybrid
great.
players before on the team. I think in the episode with Michael McMahon, we talked about it a little bit. But where are you seeing hybrid players really impact your team?
So this is great because I believe that people deserve written job descriptions and to know what their position requires. But I cannot argue with the fact that we've made it through this year. Right. By the way, when we say a hybrid player, it's somebody who is really great. They can wear multiple hats. They're used to reaching in the gray zone on the positions to the left and to the right of them. So, a project manager, for example, may also have great skills in production planning, and they might also have great skills about engineering and buildability, which is our AutoCAD and things like that. So, you know, previously we had dedicated people for that, and we've brought more people back that are that's their primary functionality. But um, we were we were very profitable in 2022. I'm convinced because we could do more with fewer people because those fewer people had that hybrid gene and could reach further than what their job description stated the job to be. So that's what we're talking about when we see hybrid. Somebody if that's I that those are the MVPs that are making companies work right now. I also think somebody that's got hybrid skill sets is a better experience for the customer to interact with. Whether you're an estimator and you're somebody that's traveled to execute and install and move in and move out an event in the field, it just makes you a it's clients know when they're talking to people that really have the experience and know what they're doing. So it's been a wonderful blessing in this year. And what I'm realizing, and I think this will resonate with a lot of owners as we think about, when is it? How many people should I hire back? Should I bring that back full time or should I wait on that? Should I outsource it? Should I keep having those duties rolled up into two or three other people? I think the economy right now in 2023 still shows a lot of mixed signals, right? And this was again another discussion at the Access event this past week. I want to I just need it to feel a little more sure-footed,
Yeah.
and I don't even know what that means. I just know that if unemployment is at 8.6% and interest rates are still climbing, and there's still significant labor shortage and a lot of other disruptions. I can't quite predict what spend patterns are going to be yet. So the last thing we want to do is hire a bunch of people that the business won't support, and we've disrupted somebody's lives if there's going to have to be layoffs again, and none of us want that. And yet I don't want to burn out the people that we have. So that's the balance, and I think we can right now and probably into next year we can do more with fewer people that are capable of wearing more hats. So that's probably going to be the hiring rule that we default to, Khalil,
Hmm.
in the next 12 months. And then what I would suggest for all of us that are, and you talked about systems, and I think we build systems around diverse roles so that we're going to be able to cross train more easily.
Yeah.
And I used to think of the word system, and I think about technology. We've talked about this before in other episodes. A system is merely an agreed upon method of how your group, your team does, how they do business with each other under the same roof. So if we can all agree on who's doing what and how we pass the baton, and that I need that design out of the design department in 48 hours, so give me 2 days. Don't tell me it's going to take 12 days because we're going to lose clients and we're going to lose
Yeah.
projects if we do that. So I think everything we're talking about regarding hybrid and the systems we have to adapt to, it's super valuable as we move forward, as we look for the market to give us, better signs of sure-footedness so we can, start to add more people maybe and separate some of those duties.
Yeah. Well, and I think as smaller companies, we're not thousands of employees. As you start to get that kind of headcount, you can afford to have dedicated persons for each role. But as you're, less than that, you're probably going to have, multiple roles for just one hire. And I think hybrid player is one way of saying it. Really, a team player, in my opinion, someone who's going to take one for the team when it comes down to
Well,
it.
that's what we
They're
used
going
to
to
call it, right? A team player just goes the extra
exactly.
mile. Yeah.
Exactly. And so that's what you want. Now, what I do want to say for business owners out there to be careful about is don't build your company around one hybrid player because that's where you run into the disaster, where you do have the real MVP who can do
Absolutely.
everything, and you trust them with everything and anything, and you don't really build systems around it because you just trust them innately. As soon as that person has a different job offer, they go somewhere else or they retire or whatever it is, you're in trouble. You've essentially abdicated everything inside your company to that one person. And really what you want to be doing is hiring people that have that team player mentality across the board in your company that are hybrid players. You're training them to be hybrid players in all of your systems so that even if one person does leave, now somebody else in the company knows exactly how to take over that role. But yeah, be careful about just having that one hybrid player.
So true. And, so if pandemic taught us anything, Khalil, um, I think people came back to work, those that came back to work, uh, with an appreciation for a more balanced life. So, really, the event business can be a very tough business, particularly in the high seasons. We all know what the January through May run looks like. We all know what the fall busy season feels like. Um, so, I mean, 70 hours a week, in some cases more, that's just not the norm anymore. So, and by the way, I think we talked a little bit about this with Michael McMahon on the workforce development. I think culture is going to be one of the greatest advantages we can offer to attract new hires or people to come see us, even if they make less money with you. People want that balance, and so if you come in as the ace hitter to a smaller mid-sized company, and they're just gonna strap their wagons to you and ride you hard, you're gonna burn that person out. You can't rely on one person. You're right. You've got to create a culture of use that person for knowledge sharing, but we're really trying hard to create as much flexibility as our industry will allow. And we're not one of those industries. Let's face it, a lot of the business events move in and move out at nights and on weekends. So that's just the way it is, and that's not going to change. But as an owner, I can tell you, we'll staff differently to make sure that we're not burning people out, and certainly we're not gonna put the burden all on one or two people
Yeah.
to carry the whole load. So yeah,
Well, it's an
right there
interesting thing
with you
you
on
you
that.
talk about with culture as an advantage, and people would take less pay even to work at a really good culture. Think about it. Some of the best hours of your life, the best hours of your day are spent at work. And so why would you want to be around people that you don't enjoy being around? So if you can create a culture where people enjoy being around,
Yeah,
like that's huge for them.
we spend more time with our coworkers at work than we do with our families. I mean, that sounds really sad to say. So if that's the case, if you're a full time employee, it really helps if you like and enjoy the people that you're working with, and I take that very seriously. So I care about that dynamic. I know it's not doesn't have to be a requirement to like everybody you work with. I think you do need to show respect for everybody that you work with, and I think as business leaders, we need to create a place where people enjoy coming to. It's not a what's that, the donut commercial, time to make the donuts, the guy that gets up at 4 in the morning. I don't want people walking through the door at 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning with that attitude.
Right.
So we have to, that's on leadership to make sure we've got a good culture.